20th.
We talked to Joe last night.
Oh.
All right, now who are they? Who are, this and this are,
George will help me. He can slide his chair
You
around
probably
there.
need the light on.
no, this is fine.
Shade down.
These are, see, I have no idea. You don't either.
No,
Well, then
Don't
you're
you, George?
No.
No.
Well, that's our great-grandpa and great-grandma.
Great.
You recognize your
Mary? No, I don't even recognize her.
oh. This, you recognize this.
Now, we've seen that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's them.
That's your grandpa and grandma, isn't
Mary
it?
and Winslow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is,
But which would be Mary here, I have no idea.
oh, really?
252 Nicollet Avenue, Minneapolis. Well, this has to be Mary.
No,
No, that's a grand, that's,
That's the great.
That's our great
So
grandma.
one of these are one of the girls on here.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
I'll bet you that,
That's Mary.
Yeah.
that almost has to be Mary.
That's
Yeah.
Mary.
That's Mary.
Okay.
So this is your grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my grandfather.
Oh, okay. And what is his name?
That's John.
John.
Mm-hmm.
Was he down here in Owatonna all the time?
He settled here. He bought the farm. It became a Centennial Farm in 1887 is when he bought it.
See, my dad, years ago when he's truck farming, well, I was just a little tyke. Every Sunday before Labor Day, we'd come down to Hollandale, and then he'd stop and see
Oh.
some cousin of his.
You came down to Hollandale.
Hollandale every fall during the Sunday before Labor Day, because
Oh,
they didn't have to put up a load for market. See,
Oh, I see.
Dad was always interested in
No.
truck gardening.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but now Hollandale, this was really just getting started. If you're a little bit older than I am, George, I think. I'm born in 26.
Yeah, I got you
He's-
two are the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're 60. When is your birthday?
December 6th.
Mine's the
You're-
14th.
You're 8 days
So we're
older
both
than-
62. George is 71.
71. So if you
In
were a little
August.
tyke,
Mm-hmm.
you were a little
6, 7.
tyke. Now, were you coming down like in the early 30s or you think the late 20s?
Late 20s. Dad had a little 25 Dodge. I know it, Sunday morning he'd put that in the hill and drain the oil out and grease it and everything for the big trips.
Oh, really?
Mother would pack a lunch,
Oh,
but we always ended up in Owatonna. Dad would go in. Sometimes I think I was in the
So
house
you-
once or twice.
so George, you probably visited them in town.
Mm-hmm. In town, yes.
They lived in my grandpa and grandma lived in town by that time. They moved into town, I think, like 1924,
He's right.
1925.
That's when Dad would stop.
Okay, and so,
I remember that part of it. Because I know I always got car sick, just like Joe used to when he was young.
Oh, really?
I would be sick. I couldn't go to school the first day or two. We were after Labor Day to school, and
Can you get sick the day after?
no, I would
they
get
have
sick.
8
car sick.
children?
They'd have
Or
a
would that
coffee
be the
can or something in the
husband?
kitchen.
This is husband and wife.
Yeah, so there were 7 children.
And when we look at the wedding picture, this is their wedding. This is the wedding clothes. So they
Oh, so this was taken at their wedding,
at their
probably.
wedding time. So
Uh-huh.
that's what we deduct.
I'm amazed at all of the pictures in those days that they did take.
And
Professional
good
with it.
pictures.
Yes, that
Good
lasts
pictures.
forever.
We've got pictures, that were taken, and they're not as, they don't keep as good
They
as
fade.
They do, don't they?
Mhm.
They really
Mhm.
You
do.
get them out in the sunlight and they
Mhm.
fade or.
Whereas these last forever.
George and I must be really cousins. Look, we wear almost the same shirt. I think,
Yeah.
I think I've got one almost like that.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, I saw a picture of you in the magazine.
Oh, I doubt that.
You doubt it? Boy, I'll tell you if I didn't think that was George sitting there.
Well, even with that shirt on.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange? Don't you think that's strange?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Heresy.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I thought, well, George has went to the Harris Seed Company he's working now. It's awful close, isn't it?
You bet it is.
It sure is.
Even with the kitty, and
Yeah.
looks like you're the green outer part of the greenhouse. You sitting there.
No, that's kind of the way, you know,
Uh-huh.
the way ours used to be, you know, with the old stove there
Uh-huh.
with my grandpa, you know,
Mhm.
he was usually fixing hotbed sash.
Yeah, we always did too.
Yeah, that's what
The last we
George
just
would
took
do.
them at the tractor loader, pushed them over the bank of the hotbed.
Isn't that funny? That is.
I know we had over 300 hotbed sash at one time.
You did.
Oh, these old pictures are
So-
fun.
Can you remember visiting ever with your grandmother, Mary, about anything about our great grandpa Ignatz?
No, I don't remember any of that. See, we got an uncle that was at Ignatz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winslow and Laura, they come to the,
Mm-hmm. Now this is our great grandma Teresa.
Is that her?
Mm-hmm. Apparently when she's older.
Sure.
get her hair part of the
Sure.
same place.
Can you ever hear any
No.
stories you can't remember your grandmother ever talking
No.
about?
And where the Hopkins High School is, that was a Shoba there too. And then she died and then, no, wait a minute. He died and she married a fellow by the name of Schwanda then.
Oh, okay.
That's where the Hopkins High School
Oh.
was, and now they got a community center there.
George, this is Henry.
Henry.
This is Henry Shoba, and he died like in 1895.
Young, fairly young. then.
Very young. This
Yeah.
is just a few years.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's what I remember.
Mhm.
And this is Anna. This is the wife. So she's not a Shoba. This is
No.
Anna Kovar. And she's the one that married Schwanda.
Well, she is,
She's the one that married Schwanda.
and she outlasted all of her kids.
Who lived in the? Who worked in the drugstore that I?
That's Matana, that's on the Holasek side,
Oh, okay.
Christine.
Mhm. Okay.
Well then,
But she seen her last daughter being buried on Shady Oak there.
Lucy,
Yeah, Lucy. And then it wasn't just a short while after she died.
she died. And then
Lucy and Amy were sisters.
Mhm. They
I
were.
remember them.
You see, Lucy and Amy were real close to my aunt Janine Shoba. Genevieve.
What?
It spoils our tape when you run that thing.
Oh, but that's more important, isn't it?
Well,
I remember Lucy and Amy. Matter
Well,
of fact,
hurry up and get it done so I can sit down and visit.
their last few years, they rented a room in a hospital. They stayed in the hospital before they died.
oh yes.
What hospital?
I think the Swedish hospital.
Amy died quite a bit
Yeah, before Lucy.
before Lucy did.
But they had an old, I don't know, Dodge or Buick touring car they used to drive.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that with the side curtains on it and everything. They were both teachers, weren't they?
Oh, I think probably they were. Now, how well did you know your grandmother?
Well, real well. She stayed with us quite a bit. See, she and my grandfather kind of split up.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
They separated,
Mhm.
not that.
They never got a divorce, but they separated.
Oh,
I wonder if they all had natural curly hair.
well, you know, I have to ask you, do you think the grandma was hard to live with, or was grandpa was hard to live with?
I think Grandma was hard. She was a stubborn one.
Oh. That's a Shoba trait.
No, it's in all of us.
No, to hear some of the stories that,
Yeah.
because Ignatz and Teresa were separated when they.
Were they?
Oh, sure.
Oh. Huh.
Ignatz died down in Owatonna here. living with my grandmother. And he almost like disinherited, this where the story goes, disinherited her, you know, because
She, Mary, my
After 7 children?
grandmother and grandfather, when they first started farming, they were out at Herman, Minnesota.
That's
That's out by Wilmer out there.
in Grant County.
I don't know what county it is. My folks had been out there, but I always wanted to go out, but I never got out there, you know, when my mother was living yet, so she could show they even had a creek or river named Holasek out there after him.
Oh, really?
My dad was about 8, 9 years old when they moved back here.
I see.
But my grandfather always used to tell about every fall he'd come down to the cities, a horse and an ox. Yeah, ox, you know, we'll pull a stone boat down here to come and get his sugar and flour for the year.
Oh.
He'd stop overnight and put new runners on the stone boat.
Can you remember what year your father was born? I'm sure he was older than my father.
My mother was 90, wasn't it?
Was a year younger than my mother, but your father was. My mother was
7 years old.
born in 87. Your mother was 88, and your dad was
7 years older.
older. So he was like 18.
81 or something like that.
Yeah, 81 or 82.
18?
No,
Or,
19.
No, 1882.
1882.
Yeah.
1882.
Your dad would have been born.
He was 7 years older than my mother.
And she was in 90.
Just 90 when she passed. Oh yeah.
Well, 83 he could have been in. 83.
1882. So
83.
your dad was quite a bit older than you then, wasn't? I mean, you know,
He was 27 when we got married.
Yeah,
When they
he
got
wasn't
married.
really that young when he got married, like some.
No, mother was 20 and he was 27.
Oh yes.
They shipped him away from Hopkins. They give him the 20 acres over at St. Louis Park to get him away because he's kind of a worthless good for nothing.
How is this now?
His folks, he'd run away from home a few times, you know.
Your
My dad would run away from home.
Oh.
His dad had a high wheel wagon on those hills over there where Joe lives. He was hauling hay and they'd dump the load off. And my dad that's him. They get,
Yeah.
they kind of outcasted him. They stick him out over at St. Louis Park there.
Oh.
I think he's nice looking.
Isn't that a nice couple?
Good looking.
Oh, beautiful. It sure is.
Yeah.
And like you say, your dad used to stop and visit with here. That would be his uncle.
Yeah.
His uncle. See.
And then wasn't there a girl or two here too? I remember being in the house.
Well, then you're thinking about would be the aunt.
Mm-hmm.
This is Julia.
Yeah. Aunt Julia. Yeah, that's it. Aunt Julia.
And see, Aunt Julia was divorced.
Oh, I didn't think of that in those days. I didn't think they did.
Yeah. Aunt Julia was
We
divorced.
talk about today how many divorces
Yeah.
there are, but I guess it was going on then too.
I don't think there was that many though.
No, I don't remember
She
any.
had good reason.
Oh,
Julia
no
did.
doubt.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I think her husband left her or something, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is our great grandpa.
Him.
Right, him right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is his name?
That's Ignaz.
Oh, that's Ignaz. Okay.
And like it says in the family history there, they migrated or came across in 1854.
Mm-hmm. 1853, uh-huh.
Is it 1853? No, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is the picture right there.
Yeah,
That
mm-hmm.
that my grandmother had you know, that was just a tradition, where she had it right on the radiator, right?
We had one like that at home,
Uh-huh.
but my sister got all that stuff.
Yeah, June has. Now this is this Mary?
Mary.
And Julia?
Julia, is this Julia here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this Bessie then?
That's it, Bessie
And-
Sitar.
And which one is she in here?
That would be her right over
That's
here.
Bessie.
Mhm.
Okay. Bessie, Mary, and Julia.
Mhm.
Kip's mother used to go out to stay with Bessie quite a bit.
Oh, and where did Bessie live?
On 17, just up a little ways from Joe, on the opposite side of the road.
Oh,
And it
okay.
backed up against the golf course over there.
Okay.
Her son, rather.
Now, is Joe in Mary's house, or was that your mother's?
No, that was, the house that Elby had was the one that our grandfather,
Well,
Winslow and Mary built.
Oh, okay.
Then when they split, I think somewhere or other they picked up the house alongside.
Oh, okay.
And both of them had lived in there.
Mm-hmm.
And where the roller rink is in St. Louis Park,
Mm-hmm.
that's where my grandfather went to live, and he had bees over there and stuff.
Did he live by himself?
Yeah, he didn't live there too many years in there,
Oh.
but I'd go there just a little tyke. I'd go there and help him when he's extracting the honey and stuff like that. You know, he had this big crank, you put it on top of the stove and you'd crank it, you know, to extract the honey from the.
Wasn't it nice, Aunt Elby, that who never said anything bad about anyone, that said they weren't real nice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She said what?
They weren't real nice.
Mary wasn't.
Uh-huh.
Mary wasn't.
Uh-huh. And she was the sweetest lady in the whole wide world, and that I think
Elby,
yeah.
Fred's wife.
Oh.
Fred's second wife.
Fred,
Rather.
Fred Holasek, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have a tape of my father, and he gets into that a little bit. He's telling about how they like to scrap all the time.
Yeah.
Show us. But I think some people just are that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we Genevieve, don't we see that with the Bohemians? Some of the Bohemians we know.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't. Neither one of us have much hair that gets pulled off. The women have the hair, but
We're the ones that had to change for them, aren't we?
Right.
Probably. Probably.
yeah, it's a small world.
Yes, it is.
That's Art and June.
Is it?
Yeah.
Boy, I blew that one.
Art
You
and
have
June.
art on there.
I haven't.
In
Oh.
parentheses.
Oh, I guess I was,
Art and June.
Yeah, Holasek. Only you have Joe and Rose.
okay.
Maybe it is.
Wait a minute.
That's Joe. And
Yeah,
Rose.
that's
You're
not
right.
a-
You're
you're-
right.
you're
Oh,
right.
You're right. You're
okay.
right.
Yeah, that we have this picture, but it isn't Art.
No, it says Joe.
Yeah, we have a picture of Art and June,
I
but
put N and M. I was going through them with, that Art is just a kind of a guess, but N and M means Norma and Maxine. That's,
This is your dad
Yeah, that's my dad, and then that's Rose.
and his sister Rose.
mhm.
See, Rose had polio years ago, and one leg was shorter than the other.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that.
Dad and Fred and Ignace, every year they'd send her $17 a piece, so she could buy a pair of shoes. They're $50 for that one shoe they built up.
Oh, is that right?
The high lace shoes, but that
And she settled in
California.
California.
She lived with this
She was-
Edison for many years before Mary was come
Before
along.
they separated.
No, before they got married.
They said, not really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin Kip of Fred's first marriage, he bought Rose's house afterwards out there.
Now,
In
In
California.
California.
oh, really?
We go out almost every year and see Kip Holasek.
Oh.
See, he's
Which
a couple
is-
years younger than I am.
Yeah. And they often would come up here, and they stayed with Aunt Elby, who was his
Mhm.
stepmother, until Aunt Elby died. Then they've been staying with us ever since. But
No.
that's an interesting story
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Rose. What was she? Seventh-day Adventist?
Mm-hmm.
Very religious. Because all our Christmas
Yes.
cards always had all of the
Yeah, no, he said pamphlets,
religious.
you know,
Mhm.
and you're supposed to give her Dad was supposed to give her all his money because this world is coming to an end every.
Yeah.
I just met her the one time when we were out there,
Just
but she
short
was
while before she passed
interesting. Uh-huh.
Well,
Mary Rose is.
Mary,
And
Mary
they
Rose's
don't.
mother.
She and her husband don't even live together. He lives in the house there, and she lives.
No,
is that right?
yeah, it's hard to understand.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And we haven't gotten a Christmas card from, I wrote a long letter to Mary Rose. Was it 2 summers ago you were,
Uh-huh.
and we've always exchanged Christmas cards,
But
and
now we don't.
but now the last 2 years I haven't heard anything.
Is that right?
So I don't know what's going on there now. Uh-huh.
Well,
They had-
she wrote to me.
She did.
Oh, well, this,
After I had written to her, I
don't
think you had said that.
Yeah, I don't think I got it. But she sent a picture that was taken, I would guess, like in 28, 29, maybe 30. And we were sitting in front of my grandmother's house. This would be the house that you, George, that you would stopped at to
Mhm.
visit your uncle,
Oh,
or
Uh-huh.
John.
yeah.
And my brother and I were sitting, and she was sitting between us. And so just for fun, I guess, but I went back and had my picture taken in that very same spot,
Yes.
60 years later or
Uh-huh,
something like
uh-huh.
that. I mailed it out to her, and I never did hear from her.
You didn't hear from her
No.
either. Mm-hmm.
That's a funny situation out there. We were there. Rose was still living yet when we were there, but Rose was in bed at that time, and
This would
I
be
come
about
to
18
I
years
come to the
ago.
door and introduced myself. She just stood there. She wasn't. And then Rose hollered from the bedroom, "Who's there?" She says, "George. Have him come in. Have him come in." Mary Rose wouldn't.
So
invite-
Mary Rose
didn't invite us in.
is that right?
And to our surprise, we had Connie, who was about 7 then. She's 25 now. And we went into the bedroom where she was in bed, and here's our youngest daughter's picture on her dresser.
Christmas card.
It was a Christmas card she had framed.
Oh, is that right?
That really surprised us. I still have the feeling that it was probably because it was a very precious little picture. She was only about 2 at the time, and kind of looking up at a star. So I'm thinking she probably thought it was more on the religious side.
Oh, yeah.
But I know even Connie, who was I think 7 at the time, was really surprised. And no, I found it interesting meeting all of them. They are also vegetarians.
Mhm.
So we had a vegetarian meal, which was fine, and it was interesting.
Mhm.
About time we were ready to leave. Davenport's there. That's all she said.
Well, Rose said that we
We
should
should stay.
but of course we
But
didn't.
Mary Rose said the Davenport's there.
Yeah,
Well, we did. Mary Rose did get in the car with us and go over to where Milo was living.
yeah, her husband.
He's got a machine shop, and he lives in the house trailer behind it.
And invited him back for dinner also. So we don't know what the story was, but
Is that right?
uh-huh.
No, isn't that strange? Because now
Mhm.
Rose was visited several times by my aunts. Agnes Arpton, my aunt. Okay.
Shut off your recorder and then you can cross it.
Yeah.
But he says when everybody filled out those things last summer.
No, there shouldn't have been 2 Jerrys.
Oh, Jerry DeMars.
Yeah, Jerry DeMars,
Maybe.
our son-in-law.
We have a son-in-law.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's it.
I'm not real sure.
From down here anyway. Yeah, that's the one that lives right by us.
Oh.
Married our daughter.
Our kids are all within 35 miles of home.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All 7.
you have
Is
7
that
children?
right?
Hmm.
Well, isn't that nice?
Well,
It
speaking of-
really is nice.
Speaking of divorces and things, how is your family holding up? We're kind of proud of ours so far.
There haven't been any divorces, huh?
No,
That
Well,
is nice.
We can't say that.
No,
You don't have that
we,
luck, huh?
we,
No.
we've
Well,
had,
we're keeping, you never know, but so far,
Yeah.
it's good with our kids anyway.
we've had 2 children, but one remarried, hopefully happily, and now the other one,
We got
was
engaged.
just over Friday and showed us her engagement ring. And they
Oh,
live, or she'll live just 7 miles away.
yeah. Well, our oldest just got married a year ago, so he has the shortest amount of time.
Uh-huh.
You know, usually it's your older ones that,
We have two weddings coming up this year.
Yeah, we have 2 engagements,
oh, really?
just
Yeah.
since Christmas, so we have 2 weddings coming.
This is with that one picture up there is one I'm really proud of that I,
This is down in Harlingen. I recognize their kitchen area.
I'm really proud of that we
Yes.
got nerve enough to go over and.
Oh, that,
They
he
were
was,
here last
Yeah,
August.
that's what
Yeah.
Joe said. See, Joe was down.
that's why
summer.
June, yeah, Art and George's birthday are day
Yeah.
apart.
Oh,
And the year before, we had gone down there because his wife wasn't well enough, but then this year, they came up here and
Eleanor is.
Yeah.
Art and Eleanor, yeah.
Yeah, she was in the hospital, I'll tell you. She didn't look
No.
very good when we were down there.
No,
And,
Isn't that a lavish apartment?
Yes.
Complex they
Yes.
have there? Oh, it's
Yes.
just a wonderland.
I think
But-
probably I told you that we visited Art for breakfast. We went over and visited him and.
that's what, she was in the hospital at the time, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
she was in the
Yeah.
hospital at the time. And then, well, anyway, he called afterwards and he said, would you like to go visit Eleanor? He was really kind of down in the dumps away.
Mhm.
And we went and visited her and,
Mhm.
On Sunday before we left, but he had us also, besides breakfast, he said, well, I'd like to have you and your daughter come for supper.
uh-huh.
We ate out, every day
Yes.
almost that week, and we
Yeah.
said, this year, we're not gonna tell anybody we're there. We were doing so
She
much.
was
See,
much better this past year.
When we went down to visit them, you could rent an apartment just like theirs for $10 a night. That's cheaper than.
Is
I
that
think-
The
right?
very same as
I
theirs.
think he was telling us that.
Well,
It was 15,
well,
wasn't it? Was
Yeah,
it
but
$15?
Art was gonna say that, he told somebody there, he said, I'm going to show these folks my apartment. And then he says, here, other guy that was there, but like the caretaker, he says, here's a key. He says, show him this other apartment too.
Yes.
That was the guest one.
It must've been like a guest,
Yeah.
$10 a night.
I think, wasn't it 15?
Oh, I thought it was only.
Was it
10?
10?
Yeah,
It wasn't
not so
That's
minimal.
right.
Uh-huh.
You had a kitchen, you could cook or anything.
Oh, isn't that
But the only
something?
thing down there, you can't buy a can of pop or a bottle of pop anyplace. We walked for miles this way, miles that way.
You mean from that Camelot?
Yeah.
And they don't have a machine or nothing there for pop.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
George and I would, Eleanor wasn't real good, so then we would leave while she could nap in the afternoon. Well, she and Art both do.
She'd take her medication. The first couple hours she was good. Then about the third and fourth hour you had to get away from her.
Oh.
She was a little.
Parkinson's.
Uh-huh.
She has Parkinson's, but yet she was so much better this year. So that's why George and I are more active than this, and we wanted to do something. And just even a can of pop, so we'd go for walks then in the afternoon.
We'd go out to the cornfield out there or go
Yeah,
out to the
but see,
cotton field.
there's nothing around there.
That's true.
Yeah, when we went out to eat, George says, no, let's see, keep your eye out to see how far it is before we could get a can of pop going to. And there, we couldn't. There was just,
You didn't have a car with you?
no, we
That's
flew
I
down there and
see.
Art picked us up at the airport.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you could have
When-
rented a car
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
When,
Oh,
when we're in our daughter's apartment, we can look across there and there is Camelot.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
that-
really?
It's that close. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in Harlingen, yeah.
Oh, you visited your daughter who was teaching down there?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Last spring.
okay,
Last summer.
Yeah, that's where we plan to go again this year.
yeah, yeah. And when are you going?
1st of March.
1st of March?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
But I suppose we'll have to go visit Art and his wife again.
Oh, you should. I know they would enjoy it.
Well,
And
yeah.
hopefully
She was so sick the last time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, she'd feel bad if she thought we were there.
Yes,
and
yes.
say hi.
When we were there, when she done any walking, she'd use a walker or else be in the wheelchair.
Mhm.
Oh,
But this time when she was up here, she had her dad's little cane, you know,
But she rarely used it, so we were so pleased to see how much better she was.
see, she's got her only son lives about a mile from us, the way her crows fly.
Twin Cities.
Yeah,
right
up
where
in
we-
Eden Prairie where we are. Mhm.
She,
Now,
she
this
has-
is the first marriage for Art?
Yes,
yeah, when she'd been married before and she lost her husband.
I see. So he was married later in life then?
56.
Well, I think he told us that.
Yeah,
Did you forget?
yeah, he was
I think
56
did
when
tell us that.
we were their maid of honor and
Oh.
or matron of honor and best
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
and they were married.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
was.
sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're sure nice people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you settled on the day or where the show was going to be this year?
Not really, George.
Well, the day you were kind of hoping to keep the same unless
Yeah.
you,
When
unless,
The fourth Sunday of
June.
June.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was in June. He
you want
couldn't
to have it at our
remember.
place?
Well, that would be really fine if you'd be willing. I talked to Joe and he says, why don't you approach Dad? And
Do you
see
have
what
a
he-
big place?
No. I mean, it's.
Well, you could have it at a park. too.
Oh,
No,
well,
no, no,
we
no.
have,
we
have a little, some acreage.
we
I
can
mean,
park
we've
30
got a
30 cars up there,
big
you know.
yard
Oh,
and this
yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I said, let's just hope it doesn't rain. But
Well-
then you'd be crowded in the house.
If that would make it rain, I think we'd take the rain.
Yeah,
That's
they bring umbrellas.
That's
You could sit
true.
under
We-
umbrellas.
Oh,
Look-
no.
Look at our fields out there, they're just bare.
Yeah, we
It's
could.
ugly out here,
Yeah.
it really is.
Well, it doesn't have to rain up there, it can rain down here.
That's, yeah. But I mean, if we had all of our children's receptions up there and we crowded lots
Oh.
of people
Well,
in.
that fourth Sunday, as a rule, it's usually not raining.
Yeah.
That's our wedding time, when we got married the 24th of June, and
Uh-huh.
hardly ever
Yeah,
does
that'd be
it
swell.
rain on that
Sure,
weekend, you know.
sure.
I think out of since we've been married, how many times has it rained? A couple of times, and we've
Is
been
that
married
right?
38 years.
Uh-huh. What
So
what
we
day
gotta keep
is
track of
that?
Be
For
Sunday,
this
wouldn't
year?
it?
The fourth Sunday? Well, here, I have my purse. I should have a little calendar in here. I think I do.
Look on here. June 25th.
That would be June 25th.
I've,
And
you know,
that generally
There
is
you
a sunny day. That's our oldest
Sure.
son's birthday.
Oh,
So usually it's a nice day, those 2 days are nice.
June means an awful lot to you then, huh?
You bet.
That's like my folks got married in August, and out of 5 children, 3 of us were born in August.
Really?
is that right? August is a good month.
I'll put Shoba reunion down.
Uh,
And you mentioned on your card that you would do the mailing.
Sure, I
Sure.
have done that.
Uh-huh.
Because
Because I don't have any of those
Yeah,
names and
yeah.
addresses, so that would be.
My sister,
You probably want to meet the
I was
man.
talking with her, and I talked
We've
with,
got a map.
In fact, why don't you
Yeah,
get
okay.
and see if they think that's sufficient?
Oh, then
oh, the sheriff. How does he know George is here?
no.
I think we've told all the kids what we were doing. One daughter called again last night and said, oh, this is
Okay, that
your
would be our
30th.
son's bill, and the number there is 1444.
And she says, you just can't run out on all of us. We have to do something for you. And I said, well, that's why we're going, so that you kids don't have to do anything for us. And she says, oh, yeah, we all got together and we're really worried about what we were going to do, which was funny.
Would you like some more coffee?
All right.
I didn't give you very much there.
Fine.
The
thank you.
talking about this reunion, you know, was saying like my thing was to meet all these second cousins.
Yeah.
And I talked to my sister. She says, we gotta keep
Oh, we
that
got a
going.
big
She
one.
says, that's so much fun.
I think so too.
You know, and,
Yeah.
and then others that come.
Well, that's a good map,
This-
huh?
this- this is-
Sure.
This is 494.
Mm-hmm.
It's 169 or 212. Shakopee is 3 miles from our driveway.
Let Jerry out here. Oh, he's got the map right there.
This is 3 miles from the town of Shakopee to Dell Road. And you're 6 miles from here down on
Okay.
169.
Flying Cloud, is that near the airport?
Yeah,
Is there a
that-
flying-
That's Highway 169.
That's
Oh.
our, that's
Oh,
our
yeah,
airport.
that's the airport.
Yeah, 'cause I hear Flying Cloud
Yeah,
Airport.
we're exactly 2 miles south of the Flying Cloud
See,
Airport.
Oh.
Eden Prairie Shopping Center's right here, if you know where that is.
This is the one, the people that registered.
I'm trying to
this
think, it's all
1988.
familiar.
You know, just to give you an
Is
idea
Eden
how
Prairie
many
south
people
of
showed up.
Minneapolis?
Yes.
Is that where we're going to that shower,
Excuse me,
Jerry?
George, I'm going
Eden
out.
Prairie.
Sure.
I
Where,
gotta
where are
say,
you going?
We're going up there Saturday night. Have a look and see if
This
This
is.
coming
this is-
Saturday night?
uh,
Well, I'm sorry, we're not gonna be home.
494.
Okay.
Well, we're not
This
gonna
is
have
Highway
to-
169 or 212. goes
Yeah,
down.
but we, if ever you go by,
Exactly
we want you to
6
stop.
miles to here,
Oh, it's in the gift.
to Dell Road where we go.
Fucking in there already.
Exactly 6, it's marked here, 6 miles.
You could stop and see if you think it would be sufficient.
Us?
Yeah.
See, we live right, we're 3 miles from the town of Shakopee. There's a little little bridge
That
right
can't
here,
be
1
the
mile
same. No,
past.
this is Apple Valley.
Oh, you're going to Apple Valley.
You're south of the river then.
and they sent us a little map too, some of the stuff.
You're telling me
Seems
it's 6
familiar.
miles?
I wonder which way you're
Off the
coming into
494.
Apple
Well,
Valley.
We're
See, this
coming in
is-
from
Oh, here it says 6
35.
miles from Highway
Oh, yeah.
They said to come
494
off
to
on
Holasek.
Yeah.
On Highway 169.
I think that's a
This is the
5.
right down.
Yeah, it
50?
looks like 50, but
Lakeville, now
Yeah,
that's,
we have a
Flying Cloud
daughter in
Airport is right
Lakeville.
in here.
so you're up, are you
So-
up?
No,
kind
we're
Oh, I don't
over
see,
here.
there's
You're
no
down
problem,
this
I
way.
should,
Yeah.
Eden
for
Prairie,
anybody
Yeah.
to
when
be
you
able
see
to
those
buy.
turnout
We-
signs,
we
and
can
I
have a
can't
bunch of these
remember.
Yeah,
Put it up.
Eden
Saw
Prairie
that.
is,
Well, maybe
is
they're
more
big, but-
south. If you're
Yeah.
on
Oh, I don't think that's
35W,
any
you're going to
problem.
go further.
That's where we are.
You're going to go
We're
down.
about
This is
2 blocks
north up
on
this
the-
way.
Yeah.
on this road.
Sure.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
If,
this is north,
if you wanna do that,
and
do you
Apple
wanna have them
Valley.
made up?
Yeah, we can run a bunch of daughters there.
So you think Apple Valley's north of you or south of you?
No, it's
Okay.
south.
South
Let
of
me see
you,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're up here.
Run out too for our wedding, so
Yeah.
we'll get from the.
Because we see
I'll
Apple
get-
Valley
I'll get-
before we see Eden Prairie.
Yeah, Apple Valley's before Lakeville. Okay,
Sure.
this is how we're going. I'm going.
Yeah, coming south.
Yeah,
You're coming south.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Because this, right here it says north.
yeah, uh-huh.
It's
Uh,
confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, see, Apple Valley is, we're over here.
Yeah, right, that's where Eden
Yeah.
Prairie is, sure.
Yeah,
Across the river.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you'd go
Oh, now we
35W.
have to cross the river first.
Yeah, you go
Okay.
35W down to
Somewhere in
494.
Burnsville, somewhere in here
Yeah.
too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause we used to find
yeah,
that all the
it's
time.
Lakeville, Apple Valley, Burnsville.
Okay,
Then Bloomington, and that's 494, and you come over then to Eden Prairie.
that's right, you have to get up to 494.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
We go that way enough, you know.
And,
just
Yeah.
Another one
trying
that
to
you,
visualize it.
if you, when you come up 35.
They won't
Yeah.
come Shakopee 169, they'll come
So,
35.
Come one, from, 35 comes up this way, you could take 13 across to 101, then
Yeah.
back.
We
See,
we have a niece in Shakopee, that's the other thing that's familiar to me.
see,
Oh,
it's
well,
just-
we're close there, we're
Yeah.
within 5 miles of your
Right,
niece
right.
probably.
3 miles from the stop and go light to this one here.
I'm sure you don't
That's
have
why
the
this is
invitation
also
on hand
familiar,
anymore,
because
but this is
we've
the
been
one I
to our
wrote.
niece's house.
And then I wrote my little thing here, and then Emil wrote, if I could add something like that.
See, Flying Cloud Airport is all right in here.
Yeah, why don't, you can sit over there,
No,
but,
that's all right.
Mm-hmm,
You know, if you would send something like that to me, then I'll type it up
mm-hmm.
and I'll make copies of it like that. You know, I don't know what you say.
yeah, that's a good map.
But anything is.
Yeah, so if you wanna just keep that, you
Okay,
know, I've got bunch of copies.
Well, I better
of
get
that.
my shower thing out of the way here.
That
So-
sounds great.
Okay, so then should we write something like this? And
No, I'll write this.
You will write this.
I'll write this, if you just wanna write the little invitation,
Okay,
you know, and
Okay.
then I'll take and I'll copy that off
Okay.
verbatim and,
Sure.
and then I'll write
See,
it
we,
in
our house, we do have three
Sure.
bathrooms.
there.
and things
My
like that, so-
sister
Yeah.
says,
Okay.
you know, I said,
Yeah,
well,
if our
I'll
crowd
let
doesn't
somebody
get any
else do
bigger
it.
than
She
it
says,
is,
"If you
it
let
won't
somebody
be
else do it,
Too overwhelming.
maybe it won't get done, and then you'll be so upset.
There's no play
Oh.
baseball or something like that, but
No,
you could play
not-
croquet or
not
something
that
like
you
that,
would,
or,
yeah,
you know,
right.
volleyball or something
I've
like that.
decided that
So
I'm
would
gonna
you
have
want
one more
somebody to bring
reunion, I'm
something
gonna have a
like that?
Well, I think we
reunion
can-
down
we
here
can
at our
find enough
place
stuff
the
around.
following
You
year,
have things-
because we
stuff to
started,
play
and
with.
then I'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and.
No, we'd like very
I
much
was, I
to.
was thinking, like, when I send this letter out, this invitation, that I'll say, if anyone, you know, I'll kind of mention that if anyone else would like to have it, to have the reunion, why, if they would let me know.
Mhm.
We'll be glad to have it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
in
You know, I was-
Are
anytime.
you talking about for the next year?
Yeah, for the following years, if anyone would like
Mm-hmm.
to have it, why, they should let me know.
Or
And-
you could
and-
just say we're looking for a volunteer for the reunion?
Yeah, something
For
like that.
1980.
We'll be very tactful, we'll try to.
Sure.
Yeah.
But,
And if it
Uh,
works fine at our
but,
house,
you know, one thing.
that's fine.
Well, you
we're-
don't need to have it
we're
every year or
in-
anything
We're
like
staying
that.
in the Twin Cities area,
Mhm.
but there's also, we've got second cousins, you know, scattered all over the United States.
Yeah.
How would that grab you, George?
Well,
That's
we-
fine,
We've
that's
got-
fine.
We've got about
Um,
three extra beds, you know, so doubles, you know.
Otherwise, there's
Yeah,
always.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
no, but there's
I'm
more-
saying, you
What
know,
if the one in Oklahoma said, we'll have it down here?
come on down and visit us, and because
Would everybody go?
this is, these are the folks from Oklahoma.
I was going to ask
Yeah,
you,
this is Burton Lee, this is his grandma over here, see, this is his grandma,
But
Julia.
that's a long
Julie.
swing
Yeah,
down
and
there.
we
Oh.
on our way down to
People that
Harlingen, we
travel.
stopped in.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make this thing, you know, shaking hands and just to meet them. And boy, he would not let us go. We
Yeah.
stayed 2 nights at his place.
Yeah.
He had that
And-
all planned before we
Yeah.
even went. He says, you can stop and stay 2 nights, you know, spend
Oh.
the day and spend.
He said,
Yeah.
it's too much for you to make that drive all the way to Harlingen.
yeah,
He
And,
knew we were gonna stay overnight
it's
somewhere.
such a card he was out. Yeah.
Well, they say fish in relation start to smell after 3 days.
yeah. So 2 days was fine. Yeah.
I have to, no, I met him when I was, like you're telling, when I was that little. And so he told me on the phone, he said, he met me like a cousin of mine. And he said, I asked him about you. Oh, he says, Jerry's a square shooter. He's a straight shooter. But then Burton Lee says, he says that about me too. You don't know if I trust the guy. So you know, we had, and you know, his wife died of cancer about.
Well,
Oh,
their children were rather small.
So he's got a big,
They weren't out of high school yet.
this fellow here. Now he's your second cousin too, just like mine.
Hmm.
You know.
yeah, he would be
Yeah,
if he were.
these are all your second cousins.
Yeah.
This
He's
is your second cousin.
he's a
That's his
nephew,
sister.
Jerry, did you explain he's a nephew
Nephew.
of Norma Mann?
Yeah.
Who's Norma Mann?
You didn't meet her at the reunion?
Probably.
Oh,
I-
so
I'm
you're
not-
that familiar
no,
with that.
No, I'm
well,
not.
we have only,
Or Julia,
Ignatz
remember that?
has 3 grandchildren living yet.
Which one was Julia?
Yes.
Julia
3
Mann.
grandchildren, and they're
Well,
not
we
young
talked about
anymore.
No, they couldn't be.
So there's
One
Norma,
of these pictures.
Yeah.
Norma, and they're both children of Aunt Julia.
That's this one right
Yeah.
here.
Okay,
So she
yeah.
has 2
So she's a
children living
grandma
yet,
to them, to him.
and their daughters.
Oh, okay.
And neither one of them had children, Norma or Maxine. They
Oh.
both married, but they never had children.
So all the children are south in Oklahoma, and
I know I sat across talking to someone
did she walk with the
who went to
queen?
school with our grandchildren, and I forget
Oh.
which one. No, I mean, this was a younger generation.
Oh,
With Jason then. Jason
Went to school with Jason, our grandson.
Neshoba.
Uh-huh. And I forget who that was. I mean, my mind when there's a big group
Well,
is
maybe
just...
maybe it was the host of Shoba that we were.
Might have
they
been.
had several children.
Yeah,
Yeah, this Emil, you know, he was
His
the only
kids.
child in the family, but he didn't turn out that way. He produced more.
Yeah, he had what, 4 children? Was it 4?
Well, that Joe has got to get on the ball and get all this family here,
Mm-hmm.
so we can look at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then we have this second cousin in Montana that was there. Did
I
you
know,
remember
yes.
meeting him?
Johnson.
John, right.
Well, no, I'm seeing it here.
Oh.
Baker, Montana.
Yeah.
Was he a tall, slim?
You know, with a
No, not
with
very,
a straw hat
Not
on.
tall.
Not too tall. Okay, then
No.
I'm thinking of someone else.
Well, I'll get a picture of him so that you can.
But I remember meeting him,
Uh-huh.
just thinking, Montana. Did he come just for it, or was he in
Well,
town?
they chum with this one cousin, with Emil, and they had been
Mhm.
childhood friends, you know,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of came to visit them too.
Mm-hmm.
We were so surprised to see them that they
What,
timed it
Jennifer,
for the
can you
reunion.
tell me that again? He chummed with who?
Was it,
Emil, he.
Well, which
Never
one?
met Emil in his life.
which one? Which
Lu-
one did he
Louisville.
chum with? One of the cousins, one of his
Well,
cousins.
there was Marvin and Russell. This
Oh.
is Lowell. This is the way they look. We visited them in
Well, then I'm
Montana.
mixed up with Arnold. Yeah.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
that that's who I'm remembering.
Yeah, this is the guy right here. That's just my second cousin just as well
Yeah,
as yours, you know.
Yeah.
And so they lived in Montana and my aunt lived in South Dakota. Not too close together, but she was a friend with that first cousin. And so, we went out, took a picture of the grave. I don't know if we got it here or not. Oh yeah, we went and visited. This is my aunt, Agnes Arps, her first cousin's grave. She just lost track of her.
That's his name too, huh?
Yeah, the father's
Yeah.
name, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think they'd have us out there on their ranch.
Oh,
They would love
If
to.
everyone would
Oh.
travel
Well,
there.
We stopped there.
Uh-huh.
we stopped there, and they kept us 2 nights.
Yeah, we didn't call them up, but we didn't know what it was gonna be like.
I just wanted
No,
to go
you
and-
don't.
We called and we said, well, you know, we didn't even warn them that we were coming, see, we just
Uh-huh.
called them when we got to Baker. And, well, first, did we talk to this waitress to find out
Yeah.
exactly where they lived, and then we called them?
Unbelievable.
And
Yeah.
she was waiting and waiting for us, because we poked around, we didn't wanna come too early.
Yes.
And she was waiting and waiting for us to come, you know. And she had a big chicken supper for us,
Oh.
fried chicken.
Yeah, this is, you get different, like when we went to Mary Rose's.
Yeah, that's.
I stayed in the car, I had never met them,
Uh-huh.
and I said, well, make sure this is the right place, and then I'll come, but she didn't, even invite us in until
Yeah.
Rose, but then we went to Kip Holasek, that's the cousin's daughter in Oregon, and we had met her. I don't think they had stayed at our house, so had
No,
they yet?
not yet.
She has after, but she was the same way, and she had children Connie's age.
Yeah.
But insisted we stay for supper, and I
Uh-huh.
said, no, we weren't going to do that, but so we did, and it got so late, we stayed overnight, and we stayed for
Yeah.
breakfast. So, I mean, people are
You
different.
know,
Yeah.
well, out there, they're so friendly, I think.
Yes, they are.
Something about it, and
Mhm.
then the next day, well, then we thought we didn't really, if we stayed an overnight, well, that was gonna be it too. And then the
Sure.
next day, they had to take us all over, they took
To
us
show
for an
you
all-day
everything.
ride on their pickup to their other ranch and over to this Medicine Rocks.
Yeah,
And and 4 of us in a pickup.
yeah,
And he drove
which is
like,
fine.
and he drove just, he just scared us to pieces in that, in
He
that
was
hill
a
country.
Montana
We
driver.
got stuck, and then we were sitting with the pickup like this, and then there was a bank behind the pickup, and that pickup was stuck up there.
Ooh.
So he put me behind the wheel, and those 3 were gonna push this thing, and I mean, I was glad to get out of that.
You know,
that place we
these
were.
are the things you remember. When you
Yes.
go on like a bus tour, it's all guided,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
you don't meet any it really is fun to meet different
Yeah.
people. It really is, and
If we'd have
something-
got stuck in that area, we were, well, this was the Badlands, kind of
Yes.
the Badlands, and if we'd have got stuck there,
You'd been there,
we'd
yeah.
have had to walk out, because nobody else was gonna drive in there.
Just like some years ago when you took the 4 or 5 day job for what's his name?
Don Nimick.
Yeah, he delivered, it was a teacher of his from St. Louis Park, but he delivered oil out in Dakotas and Montana. So he didn't want to go alone, so I went with him, and sure, this was an experience we will never forget out there, but we found those people, his customers were so friendly.
One rode with us all day that showed us the
Yeah,
different
showed us
addresses.
where to go to these different places. I mean, we went hundreds of miles in between jobs, which we had no knowledge
Well,
of.
one job in particular I know is delivered. It was in North Dakota, but it was in South Dakota. It had a South
The
Dakota address.
Address, yeah, but it was located in North Dakota, but the address was.
Oh,
In
really?
Montana, it'd be a North Dakota address,
Yeah.
but it'd be
Or it would be a Route 3 or Route 7. Where do you go on these little
You
roads?
turn where the sign is, and there
Yeah.
would be just a little sign like this hanging on a fence or something.
We stopped at a restaurant once after not seeing anything for miles and miles, and and of course we walked in, and the 5 men that were there watched us constantly, and we just felt. And so you asked where the next address was, and he says, "Oh, you go to such and this sign." And someone else made comment. Oh, I says, what kind of a sign? It's a sign like this. It was a railroad crossing sign. But I mean, that is a trip we will never forget,
Yeah.
but they were all very
They're
friendly.
polite, but the
Isn't that
wide
nice?
open
Yeah.
spaces
You
are
notice
just
that
awe
Yeah.
I've made a few
inspiring, you
trips
know?
across there on a train, and when people get on from out in that part of the country, they're so friendly, you know.
Yeah.
They are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because then when we left this Lowell's place, we went through the oil country. See, he had oil wells on some of his land
Oh.
too, and we kind of headed out through that area, you know, and then those roads just trail around through the hills, and you see an oil. This is
That
See, this is
That
Pioneer
is,
Trail, Hort County Road 1.
Amos'
You can come in
Yeah.
from this side too. There's
Okay.
a big apple
as
orchard
long
right
as they
there.
know
Okay.
where 494
Yeah, yeah.
is, that shouldn't be any problem, should it?
This is Highway 5.
Most people know
Yeah.
where 494
Well,
are.
sure.
Oh, I'm sure they
can
would.
find it from here, sure. They can look at
Well,
a Minneapolis map.
Yeah.
We'll leave
Compare.
that to your discretion. If you think it isn't good enough.
I don't know, that's...
I mean, I could find.
Yeah, it's fine to
Well,
me.
still,
Maybe write 494 a
yeah,
little
you
bigger
know,
up there.
really, it says Highway 494. I know where that is.
And 169.
Yeah, but maybe it should say, like, if you could say Minneapolis this way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Just add
like
some-
if you
well,
want to
you
lay
can-
it on another map, you might
You can
have-
do that, Jerry, just add something to it, if you're gonna copy it off.
Well,
See, I didn't
George says
realize
he's
how
gonna make copies of it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize how far away some of these people came from. Dayton, John Shoba,
You can have this here.
Oh,
Must be
you
Dayton,
got.
Minnesota,
well, we got
don't
more.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, is that, is that John,
Dayton,
Clayton's son?
I think that's Dayton, Ohio, isn't it? Amo has
Oh, some of
numerous
their
children
kids, their
that were,
children.
they were there. They were there.
Maybe that's it.
See, actually, from the airport back over in here, the municipal airport, we're about 25 minutes.
Oh,
We have quite a big yard that we have picnic tables at, so that's why we can
Oh,
have
sure.
quite as many as outside.
And if you need extra tables, people could bring card tables and chairs.
We could get our kids to do that.
Bernice,
Throw 'em in
I
the
want
trunk.
you to take this book with you, so that, like, if we're not there, this is where the guests register.
For the reunion.
Oh, you're gonna be there.
Yeah, but maybe we won't be there when
Or
the
forget
first
the-
guests
or
arrive.
forget-
Oh, I
Or-
see.
Yeah, in time.
Either that or,
Because I took it like the Amos, and there were people there already. And
Are you gonna have them make name tags again too, like you did before?
that would be a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yes, that's definitely.
Yeah.
Really, if you have any opportunity at all to come to our house before
that.
then,
Sure.
You know what I told you? I wanted to visit my
the
great uncle.
graves, yeah, which is up by
Yeah.
us in
Mhm.
Shady Oak.
Yeah.
Well,
That'd be nice to do in the spring. I like to
Sure.
go places
All are
more in
there
the
except
spring in
for
Minnesota.
Fred.
When it's nicer.
Oh,
Yeah. No, really.
yeah. I was always thinking I don't know where he is, but all the rest of them I think are at Shady Oak.
Our youngest
the first
daughter
weekend
just
in
got an
May,
apartment
we always have
weekend
cleanup day
before
there.
last, and we're
Oh,
totally
at the
lost.
cemetery.
Oh, do you? That's, I see.
I said we're fortunate we
And our
kept her
Joe is-
longer than
Joe
we
is the
wish. She's
secretary
treasurer.
25, but she's
Now,
always going
I
to be
visited
married in
there
August.
because
So we've got an extra bedroom,
your
so
mother
you
is
can
there.
stay overnight.
Yeah, my
or,
mother
You
and
can
dad,
come
and
on.
Winslow,
Yeah,
Holasek.
You know, like-
we're close enough,
But,
you know, that's.
yeah, I was gonna say come on Saturday,
How about
but
Bessie's?
you're not, is he not working
I
at all,
don't
so
know
you
where
can come
if
anytime?
she's there,
Well,
where
no,
she is.
we still
You're
raise
not sure?
vegetables.
No.
So
Yeah.
when planting time comes, then they'll be busy.
Yeah, I was gonna
With
say,
that.
he is still working even at
Yeah.
71,
Yeah.
not in the winter
Well, are
time,
your
but,
Sundays busy?
no,
No.
See, that might
Not
be, in
particular,
the
so-
spring, like when they're planting and stuff, then Sundays we don't work.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
then that would be a good time.
Sure.
To
Yeah.
drive.
Sure.
When it's a nice Sunday.
We can work anything out, so
Yeah,
whatever is best
yeah.
for you, but I wish that you would.
We started this out with my father's birthday party.
We have a guest book by our front door too that we have everybody sign. So
Oh.
we'll probably have 2 books, but you want this
Yeah.
one all
Well,
signed and,
kind of,
Sure.
yeah, and
It's-
so many pages in there to get used up.
And
So I'm
especially-
gonna have you take this with you.
but do you need this to send all of your
No,
invitations
no,
to?
There's no
No.
addresses in there.
No, I have.
You have all of these
Yeah.
names,
The
okay.
matter of fact, cousin Emil has got some kind of a business, you know,
Computer.
label. He's got them on a computer and they put it so on labels, so he does that for me.
Good.
So I just take off the label and stick it on.
Sure, well,
Stick it on.
good.
Now,
We'll,
this is Norma. You don't. Was down in Owatonna, our reunion. You don't recognize her. She's been at all the, and Shobas don't lose their mind. They remember good things. I mean, her mind is just as clear. She
But
maybe
wasn't she there last year?
she was there last
Yeah,
year.
we talked with her.
And this lady here happens to be a cousin
I remember.
on the other side, and you of course never met her. But we just buried her last week.
Oh,
And we had, in the course of visiting with her, we made a tape. Like, we're sitting here making this, we're visiting, and her grandson found out that we had this. And he came up to me, and I gave it to them, and they played it on the way out to the cemetery. And he came up to me after the burial, and he says, "Jerry," he says, "that's the most wonderful gift I've ever got." And it wasn't really much to think about, because just like we're making this recording here
Yeah.
now, and we're hearing our voices on
Yeah.
there, but he could hear his grandma's voice again.
yes, yes.
And they didn't make any tapes of her
Yeah.
talking.
So-
Well, you don't, is
They,
you
they,
don't
were,
think
they
of that.
wanted
It-
her to do it herself, and
Yeah.
she never would turn it on.
Yeah, but it's.
Now, how old is she?
Which one is that?
I think she's born in about
Norma?
1906, I think.
Okay. 83, 84, 82, something,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Now, like this lady was born in 1891. My aunt was born in 92. That's Agnes Hart. Those two are gone. She died just this past February, and she died just now.
We have gone, since Uncle Rudy was 80-ish, George said maybe this winter we should go see your Uncle Rudy. He's the only one left on my mother's side. And we're still going every year to see him, and he's 93 now.
Where does he live?
In California.
Oh.
He comes,
His mind must be good.
oh, great. He comes up and stays with us. He would always, I was brought up with, he was divorced.
Oh, really?
60 years ago, so then he lived with my parents, so I was kind of brought up with him.
Sure.
And his 2 children, so always felt close to him. Well, then he moved out lots of years ago to California, and but he would come and stay with my mother the whole month of September every year. Well, my mother died in '76, and he didn't come that year, so that's when you said it was '76. Well, maybe we should go out and see Uncle Rudy, and he said how he missed coming up. So now he's come every year and stayed with us, which has been great.
Even now.
But this past September is the first year he hasn't come. But we talk to him all the time, so I think we're still going to try to get out there. We see Kip Holasek, his cousin, and we have a niece out there, also Holasek, and
George,
my Uncle Rudy.
that's my grandma's.
But it's great
Wedding
when they
dress.
can have all their
Oh,
faculties.
were
yeah,
married
and
in
to
80
travel like that.
Yes.
At that
89.
age.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's my
So many
sister
older
standing
people
there
won't
with
do
me.
that alone.
No,
I
I
know.
don't know as I would go all alone.
Well, yeah,
So, you know,
But he
I don't
doesn't
have her-
hesitate.
I don't have her
I think
picture,
if
but
you
it's,
once
you know,
get
it's
started
dressed
on
similar
Yes,
to like
which is
grandma's
what
wearing
he's
there.
always
I've got her
done.
If you
picture
just
of
did,
me
of course,
over
he
Yes.
started from younger too,
Yes.
and that kept him,
Yeah.
he knew what to do.
Yeah, that's right.
But,
Mhm.
there. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm
Okay.
I'm giving this to you.
All right,
Take-
I'll put
take
the-
along.
I'll put this in the book, and
This you know, this is the way the invitation was written, and so
which
you got.
was great.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
And
So I'll
you just make a like your little invitation.
like an insert here,
Yeah,
and
I'll have my daughter type that in there. And you're gonna
Okay.
have this book there, so in case we don't get there early
if
enough.
you're not the first ones there.
Yeah.
But if you get a chance to come, then you can let
Oh,
us know what your procedure is. I'm thinking, I mean, we can have all of the coffee and tea and paper plates and
Lemonade.
silverware, all that sort of thing.
if you don't have to do that, cause people could bring their own
But,
dishes too.
Our family, well, there's 30 of us now in our immediate family, so I don't have the best stuff by any means, picnic silverware, that sort of thing, but we have a sufficient amount always to serve that many.
Oh,
So, we can have that, don't you
Yeah.
think?
If you want.
if you want to, but otherwise, to keep it simpler for you, you can just, people can bring their own
They
dishes.
should bring their own.
But
Really.
that isn't necessary. If they're willing to use
And
styrofoam
then it-
cups, we have that.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we can have all of that. It's just, I certainly appreciate everybody bringing a dish like you did.
Sure,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
That makes it,
Uh-huh.
Or you don't wanna feed us all.
no.
because
Well,
I don't know how many.
Oh,
I've
you-
done
no,
that.
I've only, that's the part of it, it'd be potluck to bring your.
Which
everybody
is,
else.
yeah.
right,
Sure.
that's why it's so much easier to have
Oh.
everybody bring, you know, the whole bit, because then
But
you
even-
can say what beverage you're furnishing, then if they want something else to drink, they can bring their own.
That's true too.
Make it as easy for yourself
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
as
shouldn't,
possible.
yeah, you don't-
Lemonade and things like that they could have here,
They-
you know.
They could
we
bring,
could have it.
well, like, you know, some people maybe drink something else, they
Yeah.
could just bring their own then.
Yeah.
If they want their beer or their
Yeah, that's
pop or
right. We,
whatever.
we can put in what we were
What you're
furnishing, and they
furnishing.
can go from there.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put that in for you to
Okay,
insert.
yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh. No, I think it would be fun.
See, we
Yeah.
got, we got about 2 other family reunions to go to like that too.
Yeah.
Every year?
We started hers, she lost a couple of cousins she never knew she had. She found them 2 years ago, so we had them at our place a
My
year ago.
father had
2 brothers.
2 brothers, and one died during the First World War of influenza, and he had 2 sons, and lost total contact. The wife took the 2 sons and moved to Ames, Iowa.
That's where we're gonna
But
go
we
to.
never ever heard.
Oh.
My sister and I, and the other brother has 2 daughters too. So the 4 of us have been close all through life.
Uh-huh.
The ones from Rockford always come and stay with us, and the others are from Lakeville or Savage. But we've been close all the time, and we've always known about Forrest and Marion. And I think I remember because the names, 2 boys were Forrest and Marion, and it's the strange names. But my sister, 3 years ago, saw in the White Bear telephone book a Forrest Sorensen. So she called me and said, do you think possibly? So I called. And they were overjoyed. So then we had the 6 cousins get together at our house 3 falls ago.
No, 2 falls.
Was it just 2 falls? And then last September,
White Bear.
White Bear, and now the other cousin is going to have it this year. But this is the cousin we're going to stop and see in Ames, Iowa.
Well, you don't have that many cousins.
No, I just have the,
Yeah.
The one out in California.
well, that's on my dad's side. But then we have the 4 on my mother's side, and 2 of them have already died,
Mhm.
younger than. So, but no, I think it's great to keep, and I think the older you get, the more important it
Yeah, you
is
kind
even.
of, then you appreciate it
Yes,
more. I
yes.
think so too.
Yeah. And I haven't known, I've always heard of the showbiz all the way along, but until we heard from you, I didn't know. He, tells me, but when you don't see faces, and I'm still not that familiar, but
I'm sure you're not.
but
no.
the last year I recognized some from the year before, so maybe this year.
I think if it get more of it written down in a history, that you
Yes.
can go over it. And
Yes. Your mother would sit and tell a little bit, but I'd usually hear some strange stories from his mother.
Your mother Czech?
No,
No,
Sweden.
she's Swedish,
Sweet.
Her folks come from Sweden.
but she married into the Holaseks and,
Well, yeah.
But she would tell about Mary, Grandma Mary. So I mean, I don't really know. It wasn't always a good stories about Mary.
During,
A lot of
right after I
characters
was
in
Yes,
born, that
yes,
influenza
which makes it
come along.
interesting.
Yes, I have those
Anyway,
guys too in my family.
I got it. My mother got it at the same time, so I was in bed with my mother.
So you're immune.
I don't know, but now I had it real bad, and June was only less than 2 years, or about 2 years old at that time. So Rose come over and took June, and they never wanted my mother to ever have June again, because they raised her for maybe 6 months there when mother was sick so bad.
So you are a World War I immune person from this.
Maybe, I don't know. We had it.
From what?
Well, that's what we heard,
From
about
flu or?
that influenza.
That terrible influenza, there were many deaths then.
They said I'd been walking, I got it, and I had to learn to walk over again.
You were so small.
Yeah.
And that was everybody that had it was terribly sick, I guess.
When they were talking about that Legionnaire's disease, there was like an influenza, and they were trying to coordinate things between them when they were searching for that. They were looking for people from World War I, or not World War, but this World War.
Art had it down there.
Donna had Legionnaire's disease. She was one of our daughters. She's only 36, and this was 10 years ago. Oh, she was, but it took a long time before they pinpointed it, and they thought she was in business then and was traveling, and they thought it had come from a motel.
Something to do with going through the air
Yeah,
conditioning?
this is what they,
spores built up in there
that's
or
what they
something?
kind of pinpointed it, but she got over it, and she's been fine ever since, but I've never seen her. It was the strangest thing. I can remember going over, she thought she could go back to work, and I can remember she's a workaholic like he and all the rest of the kids, and I was taking her back to work, and I looked over at her, and perspiration was just dripping off from her. It was in the wintertime. She's come out in the window. Yeah. Well, I turned around and took her home again. And this is, like she'd been home for several weeks with it, and was on antibiotics. She got over, but that was the strangest thing.
It sounds like it acted a little like pneumonia. Now I had a little pneumonia, and that's what I would do was sweat. I'd be working, and then all at once I'd just break out. Perspiration.
She thought she was feeling much better and it was getting stronger, and she better get in and get some of these things done.
Or it's like a malaria.
Yeah.
Where it just doesn't leave you.
But, strange things. Well, I suppose we should be on our way, huh?
Well, I'm going
you don't want to spend your whole day here.
Well, I'm glad we were home and then we could stop and see you. And really don't ever hesitate. Just give us a call first to make sure we're there. And come in.
Our telephone number's there if you need it.
Okay. Now I'm going to put my shoes on. We're going to drive. I know you want to get going, and we'll stop over at our warehouse.
Oh,
so
okay.
you have a chance to walk in there.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is your bathroom handy?
Oh, yeah.
I probably should too after drinking this
You're
coffee.
And then they go at.
No, I would like to have you there first because I'm not gonna remember any of these people's names.
I don't think that that's, a reunion, you don't.
They don't care. No, and like you say, we will, if I remember, if I see you ahead of time, you can give me a list of some of these things, and I can pick up name tags too to have them on hand, because that is certainly the thing to do, is name
Yeah,
tags, because I don't think anybody
Mm-hmm.
can remember
No.
all of these names.
Yeah.
And I think the older we get, the harder it is.
Yeah. How did we do that the last time? Did we have,
They were all laying in on
were
a
they
table.
sticky ones or the pin-ons? Because
They were
those sticky ones don't always hold, do they? Or do they hold pretty good?
I can even see, I've got so
Maybe
many
they
kids
do.
that are into these things too. I've got, you know, two
Yeah.
school teachers that even might have some of these things, so
Uh-huh.
it's
Sure.
just remembering to do these things.
This was a real remembrance too. Now, this is Arnold Shoba. And he had a lumber yard in Graceville at the time. And
Where's Graceville?
it's right on the Dakota border.
Oh, okay.
And we no announcement or anything. I went in the lumber yard and he was on the telephone. He just started and he says, "This is Arnold Shoba." Now, usually people say Suba.
Oh,
So
do they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that Shoba is Bohemian pronunciation.
oh, okay.
So it was just,
Yeah.
that was my meeting with my second
Yeah.
cousin there.
Yeah.
And I say, he's the one that looks like Ignatz. He's the
The
look-alike.
grandfather,
His great-grandfather.
or great-grandfather. Okay.
Yeah, because he's got the beard like, and we've got a little bit acquainted with them. They've been down here to visit us. And
Uh-huh.
they're square dancers and we're square dancers. So,
Oh, uh-huh.
so we,
Talking
Uh-huh.
about square, you ever see a square nickel?
I'm ready to write you.
Oh,
Was it
yeah.
right?
that
It's
must
to
be
the right of
Okay.
the hallway.
square nickel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the Holland islands down, the Dutch islands down in the Caribbean. Down.
Oh, you went on tours,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, that is their money, it's just a
Square nickel. They don't use it, but you gotta ask to get them, so.
Oh,
They used to use it.
they
all
used
the
to
time.
use that? Well, I know some coins in some countries have holes in the center.
Mhm.
Is that Chinese money or Indonesia? I've seen some with holes in them.
Mexican, you gotta have a whole pocket full to buy anything.
That's what we found too when we went down there, that, we brought some of it back, they said it isn't worth anything.
No. Good for starting fires about all.
You install
You wanna-
your irrigation
Well-
things? No, I don't. It'd be
Well,
waste.
you can just let it run.
You were telling me that you.
Yeah, we'll work for another Holasek that puts in lawn sprinklers.
This is
the-
for lawns, is
Yeah.
it?
Mhm. Commercial and residential, both, yeah. 287 or something like that, the systems they put in this year.
Now, this is automatic? or-
All automatic.
No, do the sprinklers rise up or is it
Yeah,
so?
they pop up ways. We watered ours 76 days in a row, straight run last summer.
Oh. There were no watering restrictions?
Oh, we got our own well. I imagine you have your own here too.
Oh, yeah, I see.
We put out about 20 gallons a minute when we blow, when we run, try to get it to run steady. Got a Heston, huh?
I'm a Heston man, yeah. That was our potato harvester.
Potato harvester.
Mhm.
Winslow has a sod machine, you know, for rolling, cutting sod and rolling that,
Oh.
galvanizing.
You have 3 boys and 3 girls,
Right,
those pictures?
Right.
And how?
He comes at
Yeah, we've got his,
Winslow House,
yeah, we've got his picture here.
someplace here.
One of these,
Yeah.
Here it is. There's it.
Yeah.
There they are, yeah.
His folks are married quite late in life too.
Oh,
His dad died in '59, and his mother must have been out.
his dad would be your uncle.
Yeah. Sure, there was Joe, my dad, and Rose, then Ignaz, and then Fred. Fred just passed away a year ago.
Mm-hmm. This is the one that you had lived in
The old homestead there.
well, no, isn't, oh, okay.
And then he's got a son that works at Justice Lumber in Hopkins. He lives out at Orono. Then his grandson, another Fred, lives out at Lester Prairie.
Oh.
Greenhouses out there.
Oh, really?
But Fred, the one that works at Justice Lumber in Hopkins, I think he's got money in out there, Lester Prairie.
How did it happen that your father was in the gardening business?
I don't know. See, the farm we had was only 20 acres over in St. Louis Park.
Yeah. So he somehow was. Did you when you were small? Did you have cows or anything or livestock?
Just enough for our own use.
I see.
One or two cows, so you had enough. You had a silo though, and you had 3 or 4 horses, and
But well, like, was your grandfather and grandmother, were they in the gardening business at all?
They got into the berries at the last.
Just the berries
Yeah.
business.
But they were more. But our great grandfather, Joseph and Maria, when they landed here, they had a lot of plums and grapes and fruit trees and things like that.
Oh,
That's on Bryant Long Lake, right at still Eden Prairie there yet. Matter of fact, Dean, the guy I work for, he lives on part of the old farm yet.
is that right?
Hennepin County owned most of it.
No, I'm just also curious, how come, like, the Shobas and the Holaseks, they were gardeners?
In those hills around Hopkins there and stuff like that, you couldn't, there wasn't much room for a little patch here, a little patch there.
Mm-hmm. So you knew what it was to have your load ready to go for the next day and go to market.
Mm-hmm. You betcha.
And early, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the morning.
Well, yeah, then Dad bought a place over in some acreage over in Golden Valley. He wanted peat ground so he could raise vegetables,
Oh, yeah.
When the berries started getting a little disease in it. I think he bought that in about 26 over there. Anyway, it's right where General Mills got their home office here now. It's our old farm in Golden Valley. But that's when he got interested in coming down Hollandale and around there.
Did you? Oh, I know who this is. This is our certified seed potato grower, Bill Sonic.
We have 10 grandchildren, 3 grandchildren. Oh boy, it's really fun.
There's the poinsettias that Bill, this was their first year to do poinsettias, and they were so pretty. They gave us a redwood, and I said, I'm gonna have to have a pink and a white too, because they had the 3 colors. Yeah.
Did you know that the one son has the greenhouses?
Yeah, and this was their first venture, and they were gonna try lilies. I think they were gonna try lilies, I'm not sure, I'm not sure if they're gonna go through with it. They're so busy now with bedding plants. I don't know if they'll do the lilies.
greenhouses.
Yeah, so much work. I never really got to work in them myself with the kids, and then it was men in there. They didn't want a woman
Yeah,
around.
no, I didn't either.
And especially the men that Grandpa had working out there, they were so chauvinistic that you couldn't, I didn't hardly want to go down there. You didn't even give them a phone message. They didn't have a phone in there. You did, you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Henry ever did. I think he had 5 men year round, so then he would keep them busy in the winter doing plants, and in the summer they were out here.
After we were married, George says, well, we'll have to be married before such and such a time, otherwise the greenhouses start.
Yeah. Well, when we were married at the end of June, I lived right out here, and my dad was making hay, so Jerry had to come over and help my dad get the hay in, so we could have that done before the wedding.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't know how busy they were out here. I didn't pay any attention to the work.
No, no, you don't. Oh, you have
Well, hi.
a lovely home. It's really.
Yeah. Well, we kind of drew up our own plans. We'd look at house plans, and they never had quite, you know, so we kind of.
They're making so small nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, we made it the size we wanted.
Yes.
I wanted.
Yeah.
Enough room to turn around and in the end keep it kind of compact. Because I came from a huge kitchen. The one in the old house.
Yeah.
It was a great big room, you know.
Farmhouse is
handy.
Yes.
And we remodeled it, and it wasn't the way I wanted it.
No, this
So-
is real nice.
The fellow who built our house used to work for General Mills, so he put a Betty Crocker kitchen in.
Oh.
It is new, but it's.
Yeah.
It's a convenient.
Well, we put so many square feet in this that we almost got short on living room and dining room. When we have people over, we find that we're crowded, you know, that we wish we had, or I wish we had a few more feet, you know, for the dining room and the living room. But it was looking so big on paper that we ended up a little short here. Because we
Yeah.
wanted big bedrooms and
Well, when you
office,
have
and we wanted everything on one floor,
Yeah.
you know, my laundry and everything.
Yeah.
So I have a pantry in here, and this little chunk is a pantry.
Very nice,
And
yeah.
a washroom.
Yeah.
So,
Our laundry downstairs.
yeah.
And you know-
Well, I just had knee surgery in '78, so this was part of the reason everything was gonna be on one floor. We weren't even gonna put a basement in. And then Jerry said, well, a basement's nice for storage.
Yeah.
So we got a huge basement.
Mhm.
Then he said he wants a steep roof so that we don't have leakage.
Yeah.
So we got a great big huge attic.
Oh.
And we ended up, we have 2 bedrooms down here, but we ended up putting another bedroom up there when my mother came to live with us. So now we've got a nice big, great big bedroom up there for a guest room, which is nice to have.
Then when you have a large family, I mean, I imagine they all come
Yeah,
for
the
Christmas
grand-
and holidays and, yeah. That's where,
But we have them once during the winter. I don't push to have every holiday here unless the kids take a turn as long as possible.
sure.
Especially when they were little, I was not eager to have a bunch of 1 and 2-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was, that's when we were crowded
Uh-huh.
up here. We're getting a room fixed in the basement for us. Just spreading out the There's that couple his sweet potato grower came over here to see him. That's who that is, from Delavan, Minnesota. Which is kind of west of here, west of Delavan here. Yeah, my mother, did Jerry tell you that my mother lived with us until,
I just heard you say that.
yeah, then
That
she
you
passed,
lost
well,
her
she
evidently.
passed away the 1st of October.
Just this past fall?
Yeah,
Oh.
and it was the end of August when she was with us for almost 2 years. She came on the 1st of January. She couldn't live in her apartment anymore. She was 89 when she died. She was ready to go all summer. She was ready to die. So it was kind of traumatic, you know, to
You
go
bet it
to.
is.
And so this winter it's been kind of learning to live without having her to take care of
Yes.
and the emotional thing too.
That's right.
You get so wound up in their lives when they're
Yes.
here. I used to get so frustrated sometimes. I would go for a walk down the road and my daughter would be walking through and I'd say, I'm just stinging, you know.
No,
She was
that's-
a real nice person, but yet they kind of dominate you a little bit
Oh,
too,
you
because
bet.
they're still your parents.
You bet. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, we kinda miss her.
Mhm.
She was- Now
Yeah.
we're alone. We haven't been alone, this is the 38 years, the first time we've really been alone.
Well, this is what you're, well, how long has it been?
48 years.
For him.
We both been married before.
Were you? Oh,
I lost my.
I see. So is that why you have older children than
Yeah.
our great-grandparents?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, well, with our oldest getting married so late in life, he just got married a year ago, November,
Mhm.
a year from last
He's
November.
38.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but his wife has 3 children
Mhm.
that are from 13 to 19 now, or
Oh,
13 to 18, something like that.
well, that was an undertaking for him.
You bet. He got her through foster parenting. So he had her son, and he
Oh,
met her,
well, that's nice.
so, but he's got a few headaches.
Certainly
Yeah,
could.
yeah, they have, but the 2 older ones, it's been a real struggle, and this 13-year-old, we could just see that if he gets that kid raised without having a lot more problems, they're gonna be
Terrible
lucky.
teens?
Well, he was in foster homes so much,
Oh.
and he's just a little con artist.
However, your son probably knew this. Is he the
Oh, he
one
knew
who
what
had?
he's getting into.
Yeah.
Because he had the older brother.
Oh, it was the older brother he had, not him.
No, this little one was
Yeah.
in a foster home. In fact, he was such a hard case to, I don't know how he could have been so difficult, but they had him up in the cities in a foster home. Just a little monkey.
Genevieve.
What?
We didn't take any pictures.
Oh, I didn't either. My camera's out there. What, would you? I would like
No, I'd
a
like to get a
picture.
picture around the kitchen table. here.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
We'll do that. I brought my camera just for that reason too. Mhm. I'll take my coat back off so you and pick up.
We're still recording.
Sure.
Might as well keep on, we might as
I
well.
figured you might as well use it up.
Yeah, otherwise you got a little bit of an end on there.
You
We
can always
wouldn't
wipe
use
it out. That's what I always think, that's what my plan is with some of the recordings I have, is to go through and, like, when my mother was here, we had a week of open house, and we had cousins over.
Yes.
And so then we record some of them, and sometimes you got all this racket with a bunch of people talking.
Thank you.
And
Uh-huh.
so then you think you could edit some of that out.
Uh-huh.
See, how often do you have to put that dog chain on Gerald to keep him home?
I usually don't want him around here all the time, actually.
You see that
Kinda
chain
glad when he
on
goes.
that rock out there?
Yeah.
That dog chain?
Oh, yeah.
That'd keep him home.
Yeah, that would, wouldn't it? Well, if, you might wanna
Are
hold
you
that
gonna- are you
thing
gonna-
down
Are
too.
you going to kind of set that like you did last time?
You want me to have a time exposure?
See, I can't do
No,
that,
I
so
know,
I'm just
you know
going
what?
to take a couple
I don't have to be in
pictures of
it.
you.
Don't you want it? Why, sure, that, you should be
And I gotta
one.
figure out where to put it again. What did I do last time?
We'll just have
Well,
the,
right now, why don't you stand next to
Sure,
him, and I'll
okay.
get the 3 of you anyway.
what,
You still got the tape going?
this tape is still going, George,
I'll get one more.
so. You think that you're that good looking? You better look at that, huh?
Well, I think,
You-
when I
you-
looked at it again, I thought, I can't see the resemblance, cause that man is quite a bit older, I think.
Okay.
Don't you think he's like, God, he's.
Yeah, but,
There's a resemblance.
there he is.
I'm sure there is.
I tell you, if you said that's me, you said that they came and took my picture. I believe you. Well, the facial resemblance isn't, but, you know, the hair is about the right.
Sure it
amount,
is.
you know?
Sure it is.
Something else you could say on the wrist crooked. Mine
Even a
crooked from
crook.
breaking, from breaking arms and stuff.
Oh,
Well,
well, I guess we just about covered everything here, didn't we?
Cheese?
If we had these people back here to visit, they could tell us all kinds of stories that we're just speculating
Yes.
on now.
yes.
I thought I'd do one like that, cause it's time business, I'm not used to that.
You're gonna come and join us, Genevieve?
I gotta see how I forgot how I did it.
Well, we got time.
Sure.
Let's see, I gotta pull that thing down after I get it focused.
But, what I want to do with this tape yet, I want to get up and visit with Norma. This is Norma, the granddaughter of our Ignat's granddaughter. And, you know, Joe said that is really nice to have make a tape of these, of the older relatives that are living. And it doesn't seem like much today or maybe 5 years, but if you play it 10
Yes.
years from now,
Yes.
there-
Uh-huh.
oh, Jennifer's getting,
Well, I gotta set, I'll put some, I think, what did I have it set on the other time?
so, I think, I can
I should
remember,
get a
well, I knew
tripod.
Aunt Julia really well.
Yes.
And
But I just got this
And
camera and I didn't
I think
realize
I
could do that.
indicated that I remembered seeing your grandmother
Mary.
and
Oh,
Aunt Bessie. Now, I didn't sit there talking with them. I was just a little
Yeah.
kid like this, and they would talk with the older people. And I can remember him coming down to Grandpa's funeral. But like,
Now, what is his name?
this is Ben.
That's Ben.
This is
Ben Shoba.
Ben Shoba.
The cousin Ben, the one, his son was at the reunion last year.
That would be his grandfather, wouldn't
Well,
it?
then his parents, well, then this fellow is there, Ben is there the other, you know, last
Yeah.
fall.
Now,
His parents are both in the nursing home.
Okay, right, yeah. No. And this Ben that you're talking about works for the St. Paul Fire Department?
Wasn't he crippled in
Ben
crippled.
and Dolores Shoba Jr., St. Paul, Minnesota.
He's in
Yeah,
a wheelchair or something there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was walking with 2 canes, if I remember right.
Yeah.
He was an only child.
Oh, he was?
Mhm. My folks would take his mother, go down to wrestling matches all every Tuesday night.
Well, Bernice, if
Oh.
you stay close to him and I get over by Jerry, I'll see if I can.
Okay,
Why don't you sit down there?
sit down, okay.
So you, now there's a second cousin
Yeah.
that you know pretty well then.
Yeah.
The one that works, I'm sure he works for the fire
I'm gonna have
department.
to get my book out. What did I do last time? Did I just push this thing down?
I have no knowledge of cameras at all. Just, all I do is push the button and,
This one is so automatic, but I've gotta, I might have to read it again. It was real simple, whatever it was. What did I do, Jerry?
that's usually the case, it's some simple.
I think it was to push that down.
You think it might go off?
I don't know if
We're
I
gonna
have, I
have to
don't
sit
think
here
I have,
voting and we don't know if it's gonna go off or not.
I don't think I've got it pushed far enough. I'm gonna have to go get the
We,
book out.
we probably could sit here for 24 hours and nothing would
It only
happen.
it only took a minute.
A few seconds.
I don't think it's set.
Okay, well, we'll just hold while you go get the book. So you're finding out our secrets. We're not probably as efficient as we should be.
Well, you're not the only one, I can tell you that. I'll send you a picture if mine turn out.
Well, we wanted to have
She wants to be on it.
Yeah.
4 of us.
There's that couple coming out of the bag up there.
That's our daughter and son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Yeah,
Now, which daughter is that in line? I looked
that is our oldest daughter.
at, okay,
Yeah.
she's the one that lives over there.
Right over there in that house, right over
Okay.
there. Mhm.
I was asking about them on your wall.
Yeah.
They have a picture that's turning green like Taryn does. I told her we had one graduation picture that turned green, and she gave us her graduation picture. Now that's turning green.
Yeah.
She thinks it's when the color first came out.
No, the color's been there for years, but
No, because the older ones have tinted. Those were pictures that had been tinted.
there's a professional photographer took it too.
Yeah, in 1969, when Tom graduated, we had black and white yet.
Yeah, McGee's.
And then Larry graduated, he had a color picture.
McGee and
Joe and Mary.
Joe and Mary Kay, they were black and white, but they were, painted. And that stays forever, it seems like, but,
pushing down, I gotta push up.
Hi. Hi. Oh, I milk cows until I was, well, until about 76,
Really?
77.
It's blinking.
Is it?
Yeah. Hurry up, hurry.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, do it on that side.
That girl, that lady, wife of mine isn't as spry as she used to be.
You don't get a whole minute.
Don't get very long.
No.
Wow.
Okay,
I
good.
just got this camera and it is more fun to fool around with it.
Yeah.
The other one didn't have that
So-
feature. But I said, now I gotta get a tripod. They said they aren't
Yeah,
that
now what
expensive.
kind?
I got it from Sears when it was on sale and it was
Yeah.
a $99 camera.
Is
It
that,
takes some
that's
pretty good
nice,
pictures.
yes.
And then I got the other one, it was like a $33 camera. So I wanted two so I could have black and white in one and color in one.
Yes, yes, uh-huh.
But then you don't take it doesn't, you don't take enough pictures sometimes to keep, they keep things moving.
Mhm.
This one, she'll go to, I bet she used 100 films a year.
Rolls of film.
Yeah.
And you, what do you
She's
do?
Well, I
got
know-
book after book.
Well, I was
then she
telling
gives
Jerry, a
it-
person can take a whole bunch and if they don't turn out, you don't have to put every one in your album either,
Christmas
you know.
time, the whole, not a whole album, full, give each
Yeah.
other kid a
Yeah,
year.
I was doing that with all 7 of the kids.
So you're the photographer of the family.
Giving them pictures of them throughout the year. So
Yeah.
I've been buying books. Well, then when our granddaughter became engaged, 5 or 6 years ago, oh, she said, I can hardly wait. Noni always gives photograph books. Well, I wasn't going to go to the grandchildren because it gets costly.
Yeah.
But when I overheard her telling Ron that, I thought, well, I better. But now I have to do it with Amy, and now it's
Yes.
so it's
Oh,
so now I've already gotten some photograph books on sale for next year, and I've already starting putting them in because otherwise I can sit for hours and hours at the end of the year putting.
Yeah, you gotta do it right away.
how about the negatives? How do you keep those on file?
Oh, she keeps them back in the.
In the same book that he built shelves downstairs, we've got about 200 photograph books down there.
Oh.
Yeah, over the years, but no, and I'm no photographer. I just snap.
You just snap. Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
But you keep the pictures you keep all these that you take then, or do
In
they,
photograph
or do they
books.
get?
No, they're
They don't
she
get 'em
gets-
yet.
She gets duplicates.
I
Does
get.
Bernice
Oh, they
drive?
get the
I
twins.
get-
twins.
Why
Yeah.
don't you let her drive and you ride on me?
Okay.
Okay, well, I was